what is that?
That is
So
my
is that your married name?
Middle name.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm
Where are you
actually
at the moment? Are you in London or where are you?
I've just come back to Cambodia. So when Francine, when you initially contacted me, I was in London. I came to London for a month, brought the family over, had a bit of a holiday. And I've just come back because my son starts school now, mid-August.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's early.
Yeah, it is. Usually it's the beginning of September.
The Americans are going back though, aren't they? The Americans are going back, aren't they? The Americans are going back.
Some of this in Philly, we've always done after Labor Day, but some states do very early in August. Yeah. Not here.
They must be the liberal states.
We go until the end of June. So that's the downside of not starting early.
Right, I think we are live. I think we're live. Hey guys, if you're watching this live, let us know that you can hear us. Let us know that you can see us. Let us know what you sell, what it is that you're struggling with, where in the world you are. Let us know so we can obviously help move things on for you guys. So I am with a very, very good guy in Benny, and my sidekick Francine is here too for love and support and just to make sure that everything is above board, more so than anything.
For the entertainment.
No, I want to speak with Benny because I think the story is really, really important. It's important that you guys understand how quickly things can move once you learn the right skills. And the reason why I wanted to bring Benny on, not only that, but I want to talk about his journey. I want to talk about where he's from. I want to talk about how he ended up in sales, and I want to talk about his dedication to other things outside of sales that has allowed him to transfer that dedication and that persistence into the craft of learning how to make sales and what is the return of that said work. All right. So without further ado, what I want to do is I just want to pass this way over to Benny. And I just want you, Benny, if you can, buddy, just give us a bit of a rundown of where you're from, what you do, what you sell, and how you ended up in this mad world that we call high ticket sales.
Yeah, and isn't it a mad world? So Ben, originally from London, UK, now living out of Cambodia. I'm on two offers actually at the moment, a fitness offer and an offer getting people into leaving their 9 to 5 to make money. So two completely different offers, two different, I guess, types of people who I'm selling to. And the journey's been quick. I mean, really quick. I remember the conversation I had with you, Bill, which was end of January. I came into the Elite, I think in February, right? And what are we in now? August.
Yeah.
So it's been a very quick 6 months. And this was never my kind of game. Like I didn't even know what high ticket sales was. Prior to working on offers, I had my own offer for a year. You know, everything that happened with COVID, I had the bright idea to set up a business. Thought it would be a bit easier than it was. And when I look back now, I thought sales, I just thought you could sell people on logic, because I'm a pretty practical, straightforward kind of guy. So if you're fat, for me, it was like, well, you know, you're overweight. It's obvious, right? I'm the guy to fix that. But obviously sales isn't that. That didn't work. But I think the reason I made a little bit of money in my own offer is because my ticket price was very low. But I hit a point that I was just making nothing. So the market got a bit more competitive. I had no skills. And then for 3 months, I think all in all, I made I think it was $1,000, which was soul destroying, but that was a reality. Plus,
There's not like a bit of reality though, are there? You know, I read a book today and it says the scoreboard doesn't lie. And I
yeah,
just read
it
that and I was
actually,
like,
yeah.
fuck.
Yeah. Well, it kind of it came to my attention actually when you asked me. It was quite an inoffensive question, like how much have you made? I thought, yeah, not much. You can't hide from the numbers.
No, and that's one thing we always wanted to say to you guys. You can't hide from the numbers. Give us a bit of a rundown of what you've been able to do. Kind of, so from when you started with us, you made $1,000 in a couple of months. That's with your own offer. What have you done up until this point? You know, just go through. I think you put a post into the group there. It was about about a week and a half ago. I think Francine, something like that. But just give us a bit of a rundown on the numbers that you've had from the end of February.
From when I joined,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I put these numbers, and I had to kind of double check because I looked at the numbers and thought, man, have I actually made that much? Have I made that much money? So I thought,
Yeah.
let me go and check the numbers again. And actually, it turns out the numbers were wrong. I put dollars instead of pounds, so it actually made more.
Shit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. The pound is way off the USD. So what have you made then? So you've made a liar out of me, you've made a liar out of yourself, and now you've made a liar out of poor Francine.
Well, so the first month it was something like 12.5K. And then, no, sorry, the first month I came into the program, I just studied. I didn't have an offer. I had no security. I think I had a fuck it moment with you one of those moments on the phone with you where I said, I'm going to come into the program. I've got no offer, nothing. Let me give it a go. So I studied for a month. I was actually rejected from an offer. So I had nothing, no security. Studied. March, I came, got 2 offers. So I actually started working. And April and May, yeah, I had big months. 14K actually, and 14.5. Which is nuts. Yeah. For me anyway. Yeah. And then
because when you started, you were at 1, if you think about it. Yeah. Well, 0 actually, if you really want to break it down, because that was your own offer. You've never sold someone else's offer, and it's a different ballgame because, like me, if I go and have a conversation with someone about the objection box, it's not even a sales call. It's just, this is what you're doing. This is how it works. So, like, if I went and worked for somebody else and I was selling someone else's offer, and that's the game back on again. You know what I mean? Because I think when you move on your own offer and you sell your own offer, they're not sales calls anymore, to be quite honest with you. I do enough of them to know they're not sales calls, believe me. So you started at 0, then you went to 14 and 14.5. Where have you been now over the last couple of months? I know you've been in and out of the UK and stuff like that. I know you came to see us in November as well. No, not November. When was that? February.
April.
Sorry. April.
April. Yeah.
Whole year is gone.
Yeah.
So where are you now? What are you making now?
Well, so summer's been slow, but I kind of remember, like, again, I had no idea on this industry. So the beauty of being around you guys is tapping into a bit of information. So I remember you saying, look, make your money at these points. Summer slows down a little bit. So a slow kind of month for me was 12K. And I was complaining. I had to catch myself, actually. It's been a shit month, 12K. And I'm just thinking, what the hell am I talking about? I mean, where do you walk into a job and just have a slow 12K month?
Just from being a starter, if you really want to break it down. Like, because if you think of it, like, that's what people don't understand, the power of high ticket sales and the power of doing this work. And it's so raw and it's so, I suppose, not safe. It's not safe in the capacity of it's steady. There's nothing steady about this industry, which is what I love. And it's kind of like trading. If you've ever seen trades, you're trading on one thing and one thing only, which is your skill set and knowledge, and a little bit of luck, let's call it that. But this industry, if you really hit it right and you do the right stuff from the very get-go, like a snow month is 12K. If you think about like that's a 12x on when you started. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. You would never do that in any other industry. That's what people don't understand. I see people that are in this industry 3, 4, 5 years still under 7, 8, 10K. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing with your time? Like, what are you actually selling? What are you actually learning? What are you actually, putting together? Why are you struggling? You know what I mean? Why are you in this position?
Yeah, shouldn't be.
No. Why did you pick this industry? What was it about this industry?
It's a good question. It's a good question. I don't think I did pick it, if I'm being honest. I got
None of us do, Bang. None of us do.
Because I'm not a natural. I usually rub people up the wrong way, if the truth be known. So
2 peas in the pod, me and you then.
Maybe, yeah. But the more I did, I think what it is, if I'm not good at something, that in and of itself is a bit of an attraction. And then when I started piecing together the fact that it is a skill, especially coming into the elite, it's like, man, this really is a skill. Listening to how you do it, the nuance, I loved that. It's like, this is a legit skill. Now, everyone thinks they can sell, but when you're around really good people, that's when you see the levels. And I liked that and thought, yeah, I want some of that. And then obviously, when I clicked how much the potential money that can be made from this, and obviously, if you're in a good offer, which fortunately I am, legit offers, legitimately helping people, like good community, positive, all of these things, like it's a win-win for everyone.
It is.
So I was like, yeah.
Totally.
Let me recycle you all the way back then to the time we had the conversation and you were in a position of, fuck it, I got nothing else, I'm jumping with you guys. To do that, it takes a lot of courage. To do that, it takes a lot of bottle, it takes a lot of grit, it takes a lot of cojones, leorodes, as we say in Ireland, which are balls for you Frenchmen, if you want to know. Why did you do that? What was it? Not necessarily about me, to be quite honest, because I don't need to hear that, because people think I have an ego the size of this room, which I do, to be quite honest with you. But why did you pick the objection box? What was it about what we were doing that ultimately said you're the guys over everyone else? Because that's interesting to me.
I mean, look, a part of it was you.
Oh shit.
Part of it was like the questions you asked me, you were very respectful, very quiet, actually. You got me thinking. And for me, that's always a good starting point. If someone, can get me thinking rather than just kind of bulldozing me and treating me like an idiot that other people have done. But then I did a bit of research on kind of the objection box and the community at the time, and it was all positive. And I just thought, well, there's not. I mean, I couldn't find any negative reviews. I didn't hear, like, there was so much positivity, and there still is. In fact, there's more now. Testimonial after testimonial. Not that I needed that. But I kind of like the fact that you were saying, look, just move with me, trust me. And I thought, you know what? This guy's too confident for it to be all a show. So I thought, yeah, I'll meet that confidence and let's do it. And actually, if I had walked out covering the cost of that program, I'd have gone, nice one. Thanks, Bill. I would have been happy. So I'm even more happy, even more happy now. But yeah, much happier now.
Yeah. Why do you think people aren't that confident about what they have out there? Because I see all it, like, and I've been around I've been around offers and I've been around business owners, it's a funny thing, Benny, when you move up and up and up and all that great stuff as people see it, all that wonderful BS, your circle gets smaller and the people that are in your circle get bigger, so their names get bigger and their industries get bigger and their egos get bigger and everything gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the people that I connect with and the people that I know, and I look at their offers and I look at what they're doing and I look at their, what they say about things. I don't see anyone that can walk and talk the way that we do, meaning like, this is what we say, this is what we'll deliver, and this is our agreement to you. And if we break it for any reason, here it is, and we'll give you a full refund. Not one person in this industry does that, other than me. Why do you think people don't do that?
Oh, quite simply, they can't back it up. I mean, so small things like that. My opinion is people can't. A lot of people. It's easy to talk, but to back yourself up, it's a whole different thing. And even small things. Actually, going back to a previous question you asked, you do these free. I don't know if they're freebies, but you get on Zoom, and there's loads of different people who aren't. I don't think they're in the elite anyway. They're just people that want to learn more. And you're kind of there flexing in a way. I mean, you're giving like some good stuff away, but you're being put on the spot as well. Yeah. For example, objection handling. That's difficult. Like I definitely couldn't do it with 20, 30 people looking at me ready to jump on me and judge. But then I'm not in your shoes. But I mean, it's a tough thing. I don't see anyone doing that. I see it all behind closed doors. Or snippets, like showcase reels. So you put yourself out there.
That we do. Do you know what it is about me, Benny? I'll tell you why. And I don't want this to turn into the build show because it's definitely not. Just this hour, believe me. I'm allergic to the tech of it all. So I don't do any of my own tech teams that do it now and all that kind of stuff. So when I started off, I was like, do you know what? I couldn't be bothered about building a course, couldn't be bothered about, cutting up videos and going and finding a segment of 30 seconds when I felt I was on fire. And then I can, scrap the other 98% of it and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to pump out as much volume as I possibly can. And I'm just going to go and do what I do. And either you rock with it or you don't. So for argument's sake, I did a training for a friend of mine. His name is Charlie Morgan, and there's about 100 and something of his students on. First time I spoke to any of these people, and I went on and did some objection handling training with them. Kind of, sold them all into different things and stuff like that. And he posted a video on YouTube, and I looked at the comments because I was bored this week. And one guy was like, "Really love all the content, really good, clear, and understanding stuff, but just can't stand all the F-bombs." I was like, there it is. There's the retard. There it is. Because it just goes to prove, you know what I mean? You put out as much as you possibly can, and I give it away for free, as you know, and as you alluded to. I do it because it helps me train. It keeps my mind sharp. Because when I jump on calls now, I don't really have to have a sales process. It's just like, this is what we're doing, and then it's just objection handling if I need to. But if I can carve out 30 minutes where I can still train but also help, then that's a win-win both ways. If I jump on every twice a week or 3 times a week with 30, 40, 50 new people, and they're giving me objections, I know I haven't coached those people before. I know I haven't sold those people before. So what they're going to say to me, I have never heard before. So it actively turns my brain on, and it makes me have to turn up. So that's why I do it, to be quite honest with you. But also I'm lazy and I don't want to do the tech. Yes, I have a team, but I don't want to even say to the people, oh, I handled this objection at 38 minutes to 42. Can you go and cut all that up and put 10 reels out on X, Y, and Z? I'm like, I just couldn't be fucking arsed with it, to be quite honest. So I just put it all out. And if you want it, it's there, Yeah. If you wanted it, it's there.
But it's good stuff. Very good stuff. I mean, that was all part of the puzzle for me. I looked at it, thought there's no negative reviews at all, just positive. You put yourself out there. you back yourself, which I don't think people do. Behind the scenes, they do. You'll have people posting things, but what's happening behind the scenes is different. Maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know, but it got my attention, and clearly I made the right choice.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very kind of
we
you.
do.
And again, it comes back. I don't know why, Francine. You tell us. You've been in the industry longer than all of us. Why do people not put themselves out there? Why do people not go out in the women and say, "This is where I am. This is me putting up my hand, and this is what I'm committing to"? Why do you think people can't or don't do that?
Oh, that's a loaded question. But I think one of the main things is, you know, I'm always big on putting the mirror up to our own faces. You know, one of the things about it is like, and you know, like you said, like you're logical, right? Like it's all, we thought everything was logical, like no emotion. I hear from so many people. No, I'm very logical. I don't do anything on emotion. My prospects are very logical. They don't do anything on emotion, right? And it's that thing of like, know thyself. So I truly believe that we as humans, we've just got such still limiting beliefs that for whatever reason, it's like, oh, I feel like I'm tooting my own horn, or I feel like who's going to believe me, or I feel like people are going to make fun of me. Like, I feel like so many people still have that kind of a mindset going on that keeps them from.
But I also think, you know, quite simply, a lot of people just aren't good enough, and so they mask that. Yeah. They're selling an image. Yeah. You know, but this for me, this industry is unforgiving. You ask me how much have I made, and there's the number. And there was a moment actually that I was taking a lot of different advice from people, but then I was looking at their numbers, and I was thinking they're not even close to what I'm making. Now, I don't know what the lesson in that is, but it's just interesting. A lot of people are giving a lot of advice and info, but at the end of the month, you know, how much have you taken?
Yeah, the actions that they're and the results that they're getting.
Correct and right. You're absolutely right. It's about, are you good enough to be able to back yourself? Are you good enough to be able to back your word? Are you good enough to be able to put yourself out there? Are you good enough to send people an agreement? It's in black and white. And anyone that comes into my world, into my industry, into my little world that we have here in the objection box, they get an agreement. And it basically outlines, if we don't get you X, we will do Y. And I see so many people, they want to hide behind all different terms and conditions where you have to be on, you know, 100% of the time. How long is the program? 12 months. You're like, how are you going to commit to 12 months of being on something 6 times a week? Can't do it. So they're all little loopholes that people want to put over people's eyes. Because you've hit the nail on the head, Benny. When it comes to it, when it comes to shop, you're just not good enough. That's the reality. You're just not good enough. You don't care about it enough. You don't care about people's results enough. And that for me was a big gap. I said, okay, well, like, what if I just care? What if we just actually
novel approach in the online space?
What will happen? You know, why? So you live in Cambodia. How did you end up there? Can I ask? And if it's too private, tell Francine to fuck off.
I'll close my ears.
Well, no, it's. I was wondering if you'd asked me actually. Prior to this whole world, I worked in. I worked in volatile areas around the world, one of which was here in Cambodia. So I was actually on a human trafficking project out here initially. So I've come from a very different world. Oh, it was a while ago, and then after all of that, I got married, and happily
your son.
With
there's a lot of talk with that at the moment, aren't there? With the Sound of Freedom, I think is the film that's out at the moment, which is. I was about to make a terrible joke until you said something about the trafficking. But I was about to say, with the conflicts of war, do you go to Philadelphia? But obviously, it wasn't the right place to actually say.
No.
No.
Well, wait, were you in law enforcement?
So you know what it is? It's like you know this, Francine? I told you as much as I could tell you without coming to your house and ripping your throat out of your face. That's exactly what Benny's going to say to you.
You know, Benny, we're going to have to talk offline, okay? Because I need to hear more about this.
Yeah, you can talk offline. You can't get me shut down on Facebook by Zuckerberg.
Okay. Yeah, we have to talk. And the reason why I'm asking too is because, like, again, like I said earlier, we never met in this respect, just messaging and just I see your posts. So that's what I know of you, you know, and you kind of remind me of like the 007 secret agent, kind of silent but deadly kind of guy. So this is all like so intriguing to me of knowing this past life.
Just wait for the book to come out, Francine, will you?
I want an autographed copy. I mean, I want to be like mentioned in the foreword.
That's far from the truth. But I tell you that the kind of world I've come from, the notion of marketing yourself, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't understand. So, for example, Francine, you've given me a lot of feedback on putting yourself out there. So someone like me is very foreign. You probably tell from my Facebook page.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah, it's completely against your ideology, you know, because I come from military as well. I don't come from the military that you come from, but everything is about your image. Everything is about being confidential. Everything is about not, you know, what's that term they use? Putting in disrepute. Don't put the company, the government, the X, the Y into disrepute. So I know that, and I respect that. What you've probably seen in your time, Benny, without getting too much into details with anything, is you've seen a lot of bullshit. You've seen a lot of people lie, and you've seen a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of you know, not very nice things in this world. And what you do have, Benny, and I will attest to it, is you got a bullshit radar.
I think so.
Yeah, you do, because I remember when we sat and we spoke about it in London. You got a big bullshit radar. You can see phonies from a mile away, and you can see people who lie, and you can read the room, and you can read what people's intentions are for you, you know, and that's a big asset. And I think I have a fair bullshit radar too, and I can read between the lines, and I can see who's going to do the work and who's not going to do the work, and who is going to back up the word. Why did you do the work? Why didn't you just do what most of the fucking space out there that are not in the objection box do, which they just talk and talk and talk without backing anything up? Why did you actually do the work? What was it about it?
Yeah, there's a little quote: "Lead me, follow me, or get out my way." And I came to London actually. I wanted to meet the community, but I wanted to meet you. I wanted to shake your hand and look at you in the face to see what kind of guy you are. I was very like, I was like, yeah, I've made the right choice. This is a good guy. And I thought, the way I see it is, if I'm going to invest in someone and I guess select someone to lead me, I'm just going to follow what they say. So if Bill says this, I do that. I do it. And I just pretty much followed what you said. A little bit clumsily, but I did my best to follow everything that you told me to do. And it all worked perfectly. So to answer your question, you know, why did I do it? It's because for me, it'd be a bit foolish to come into a program and choose someone to lead them and then just think I know better and do my own thing.
We see you, Francine, don't we? Francine being around the block. Francine has been around the block, not necessarily in her private life, but in her work life, she has been around the block.
Oh my God.
Why do people do that, Francine? Come on, you're supposed to be the wisdom of
I'm the wisdom person.
Yeah, you are the wisdom.
Yeah. You know what?
Why does that happen?
It's that, again, it's backing themselves, it's making the commitment. They just refuse, for whatever reason, right, to really make the commitment to doing what it takes to show up and get to where they want to go. Whatever the reason might be, it's either fear of success, fear of not succeeding, right, which we see out there in the world, right? Or, you know, and that I think is the most challenging part as well. Like that was the big challenge for me when I was out at other places. Obviously, our people always show up, which is just a testament to Bill and who he attracts, you know, and I'm not saying that as because we're alive, right? But it is really true. We seriously attract the best. We attract the best people. But I've been around the block, as Bill has said. And, you know, it was more of throwing money at a problem and hoping it's going to cure things, like the Band-Aid, the lipstick on a pig, as I call it. You know, it just doesn't work that way. You have to do the work, no matter how uncomfortable it is, no matter how painful it is. And I'm sure for you, Ben, like coming in and doing that whole month of just studying, not having an offer, being a logical person and seeing like, we are not Vulcans here. We do have conversations based on emotion, right? Like, so like that had to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah. I mean, it was day in, day out. I mean, but I quite like the discomfort, if I'm being honest, because I guess I've worked out that the formula to some kind of success is being able to embrace that. Yeah. So if it is uncomfortable, as long as it doesn't push you over the edge, then normally you're on the right path. Yeah. So yeah.
So do you feel that kind of mindset that you have has helped you in these offers? Because as you said, they're two very different avatars who are coming to your call.
Well, yeah, the mindset,
both uncomfortable.
Yeah, the mindset does help, but then again, having the skills, something that, again, what I quite liked about the elite and I like about all of you guys is you're quite pragmatic. So, you know, a lot of people have ice baths. I'd just rather learn the skills. Do you know what I mean? The meditations and the mind, the ice bath, all great, but I'd rather learn the skills because I know if I'm trained, if I'm prepared, you can put me into any offer, I'll work it out, which I kind of have done.
You have.
And I'm just 6 months in, and I'm average, just to put it in a broader picture. Yeah, you know.
But here's the funny thing, I want to stop you there because your thoughts are your average from going from 0 to 15K in 6 months, but you only base that on what you see inside Elite. You go to any other industry or any other program, like you're top dog. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
So it's only based on what you see, and because you see some guys doing monstrous numbers, you know. But it's not necessarily about them, Benny. It's about you, and it's about how you want to live your life, you know. And I know, like, making 15 grand for you and the life that you live is like, it's like stupid money. I know you don't spend a third of it, you know, because you, without being disrespectful, you don't really need to in Cambodia to live a simple life like you do. You know, you live a very good life, a very simple life, but it is what it is. You don't live in Miami where it's 10K a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. So like, and that's important because I want to pull back on that because most people are in that comparison mindset. They're always in that comparison. And you just did it there without even realizing it because you're comparing yourself to what you see inside the Elite where some guys are doing 40, 50K a month, you know what I mean? Which is crazy, you know. I have a different opinion on why people aren't in the work in life. And you can tell me. I think social media has really damaged our generation. I think instant gratification has really wrecked a lot of people. I think a lot of comparison, as we just mentioned, have wrecked a lot of people, has taken a tremendous amount of joy out of people's life, me included. I will absolutely pull up my hand and say that. Like, for the company to be where it's at today and to still think that we haven't even scratched the surface, it's just bonkers. And again, that comes down to me comparing the business to other businesses. But again, it's you have to be very self-conscious of that with what we do in the work, because if we don't, you know, we'll never find any amount of joy in anything that we do. And that's something that I actively have to work at every single day at 31 years of age, you know, with 2 kids and financial freedom that I've dreamed about for my entire life, you know. So I think that has really affected a lot of young people, and I think a lot of people, as you said, want to focus on cool things and trendy things and happy things rather than solid hard work. You know, if I end up in a fucking gunfight, is a cold bath going to help me in a gunfight? No. If I end up in a gunfight in the middle of Afghanistan, is learning Taekwondo going to help me fucking overcome the enemy? No. If I end up in a gunfight in the middle of Cambodia and I'm thinking about, you know, meditation, is getting down on a mat and crossing my legs and singing Humbaya, is that going to help me fucking overcome an enemy that wants to shoot my face off? Probably not. So you're spot on about, yes, there's things that can feed the skill and can help us as better people. But there's no substitute from just solid work. There's no substitute from just solid action. If I'm a wide receiver in the NFL, my single job is to catch the ball. That is it. Yes, I can use power movements. Yes, I can speed. Yes, I can get bigger. Yes, I can get faster. But if I can't catch the ball, it don't matter how fucking long I can hold a fucking plank for, or how many fucking push-ups I can do upside down on a bar. The single biggest thing that I have to do is get deals done. And I think that's really important, Benny, because you know what it takes. You know, you're not in the trend. You're not in the game of, I want things to be easy and I want it to be fast and I want it to be cool. Your game is, I want to be as uncomfortable as I possibly can for as long as I possibly can to make myself more comfortable in the uncomfortable. That's something that I say to you guys all the time. That's why I've only focused ever on objections. Because if you can get uncomfortable, if you can get comfortable from the uncomfortable, when do people get uncomfortable on a call? At the very, very start and at the very, very end. So if you get really comfortable at the end and you get really comfortable at the start, then guess what? You just win the game. Why? Because you're holding on when everybody else is fucking freezing up. You know where you're going when everybody else hasn't a clue. That's why so many people are losing deals all the time. You know, because they're giving away the power. They don't know what's coming next. They don't know how to move the needle.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah,
totally.
totally.
So
I'm curious.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
Go for it.
No, I was just curious about, you know, when you said about the hard work, like what did that first month look like for you in training when you didn't even have an offer yet?
Well, it's like single-mindedness. The offer is irrelevant because without the skills, what's the point of an offer anyway? I mean, you could fluke it, but that's not my style. I don't want to wing it. So it's just, I guess I flipped the positive. I thought this is a month that I'll just obsess over Bill and the modules.
Like we all do.
And, but the modules are quality. Like that's the other thing. The standard, and you're absolutely right. I am comparing. When I say average, I don't want to compare myself with the rubbish. I want to compare myself with the best. So being exposed to that within the elite, that raises my standard. I want to be where, you know, some of your top guys are. And so for the first month, to answer your question, Francine, just listening, watching, taking notes all day, every day, 7 days a week, you know, just constantly on it. I didn't really want to role play with anyone. I just wanted what was, you know, basically Bill and the other guys in there and their kind of training stuff and just getting exposure to that all the time.
Okay.
And that did wonders actually when I hit an offer. I mean, I had the confidence to put together my own framework. I was given a 2-page script on one of the offers.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is rubbish. I'm just going to use.
I know to hear this is, we're not doing this. Yeah,
right.
You're absolutely spot on.
Doing.
You know, people want a lot for nothing. You know, do you want all the results for none of the work? It makes no sense. You know, and the beauty of it is, Benny, people see what the company have done and what I've done in the last 2-3 years. Whatever that even may be, it may be absolutely nothing to somebody and it may be the best thing in the world to somebody else. For me, like, we're only getting started, in my opinion. But people don't see 7-8 years of being punched in the dick every day, you know. And that's that. like everything I tell people, everything I coach people on, everything that I go through with people, I didn't just lick it off a stone. I didn't just go through, you know, a 6-week program and then I just created my own thing and then off I went. You know, yes, sales was something that was quite new to me. But building businesses and building relationships and learning how people work and learning how people tick and learning how to stay in pockets with people and learning how to overcome shit and learning what to say and how to say it and learning how to deal with stress, learning how to deal with the anxiety, learning how to pay your teams, learning how to market, learning how to sell, learning how to advertise, learning how to fulfill. All of those things we've been doing and I've been doing for the last 10 or so years. I just changed lane, you know what I mean? What people didn't see for the first 7 years of, you know, from 20 to, so I'm 31 now. So from 21 up to about 27, I think I got into sales around 28. People didn't see that period of getting punched in the dick. People didn't see that period of me selling a Range Rover that I bought with cash for Facebook ads. You know, people didn't see that I wasn't able to pay for my kids' Christmas. You know what I mean? People don't see that stuff because, you know, people only see what they want to see. You know, when people look at what you've done or this person's done or that person's done and say to themselves, I can do that. I'm going to do that. But what you've done over your life is you've built up a fucking callus around yourself of being able to be resilient and to be able to stand in the pocket when someone's giving out to you, or being able to stand and listen when someone's being very direct with you, or you've been in situations where you've been totally uncomfortable trying to learn something and knowing that you're shit at it, but knowing that you got to keep turning up every day to be less shit at it. Like what your life has done for you and what the business you've been in and the work that you've done has all filled you being able to start on something and go to where you are in 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever it may be. You know, and all that journey has put you in this position. But the problem is that I got 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 19, 20, 24, 25, 28-year-olds coming to me all the time with nothing other than a fucking one backhand in their life to deal with. And that was to the back of their head, never mind to their face. You know? And they want to rock and roll and they want to fucking, you know, do big stuff. But they don't have the experience to do big stuff. They don't have the fucking IQ to do big stuff. They don't have the resilience to fucking get punched in the face and come back another day. You know, I think it's a big issue that people have, you know, big issue, a big problem. People don't know what it takes to have success.
They don't want it either. I don't think people want that.
No, not when you see the trade-off.
Yeah, there is a trade-off.
They'd want it if they see, because I this is the crazy thing, right? I put some people on that. I train people that run businesses training other people. Just take that into account for a minute. So coaches that get paid to coach other people, I'm their coach. So ultimately at the top of the thing is me and some other people. That's how it works. But the people that I train, some of them have the audacity to go and ask other people for money. I'm like, what are you doing? How does this even work? How can you basically tell me 6 months ago that you couldn't even close the door, and now you're actually charging people to train them on how to close the door when you weren't able to do it 6 months ago yourself? Makes no sense.
No, that's
Francine's laughing.
It's it's the industry over and over again. Yeah. The online space in general. Mostly in sales, I see it though. But I think it's big in lead gen, the lead gen world.
Yeah, that's not.
It's just an MLM. It's just an MLM fucking, you know, system for some reason. I don't know. But the reason why I say that is because you have to earn the right. You've earned the right. You know, you have to earn the right. And what you've done over the last 20 years of your life, 30 years of your life, has put you in a position where, you know, you can start something very new and get to where you are because you learn very quickly over the last, I suppose, 15, 20 years, what needed to move the needle, you know, and you keep alluding back to it, it's the skill, you know, and 100%. It's basically, if I don't have the skill, then what's the point? I can put myself in a room with other killers and other savages and other people that are absolutely elite at what they do. But if I can't stand and I can't punch with those guys, they're just going to crush me.
Mm.
You know, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, totally. So what is your plan now for the rest of your career in this online sales space?
Jesus. Career.
Wow, that's a deep, deep question. I don't know.
It's a deep question. No.
Just go. I hate to be one of these people that says go with the flow, but for the moment, still learning, trying to get better, see where that takes me. You know, it's an interesting space. It's an exciting space as well.
Do you like the space? Do you like the space?
Yes, I do actually, surprisingly. Like having met people like face to face as well, people that I could have a coffee with, connect with, you know, decent kind of people, decent men and women. But the space is interesting. It's like the market is changing. You have to, that skill of communication. I enjoy it. I do actually enjoy it. I don't feel pressured by it or any of that. I genuinely, like, I enjoy getting on calls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, it's a tough gig if you don't enjoy it. Let's put it that way, even for the money. No. I mean,
it seems to be a lot of people that struggle with enjoying the work, and I just can't work out how you can.
Do you know why? I'll tell you why. The reason why people don't enjoy doing what they're doing is because they feel too much pressure from the lack of skill set that they have. You ask LeBron James, does he enjoy playing basketball? You know what he's going to say to you? What else would I want to do? I'm the best at what I do. I know I have been the best for the last 20 years of my life. What else do I need to do? I know the game. I know how to win the game. I have locked and loaded the game. The reason why people don't enjoy this space is because they're too insecure because they haven't done the work. And it comes to the end of the call and they don't know where it's going to go. They don't have the skill set to back it up.
Yeah.
That's why people don't enjoy the game. Straight up. I've seen too many people, I've coached too many people, I've been around too many people who want to pretend that they enjoy the game or want to pretend that they're good at the game. And I just tell them, okay, show me your numbers. Show me your numbers. Because your numbers don't lie, as you said. The scoreboard doesn't lie. That's why people 100%. Don't enjoy it. And that's me, like, have coached thousands of people. The reason why people don't enjoy this game is because, number one, they don't enjoy actually communicating with people, and number two, they don't have the skill set to help people. That's why. Because if you think about it, right, the perks of this job, if you think about it, right, you need an internet and a computer. That's it. Okay, you don't even need a headset. Okay, so that's your whole, like, that's it. That's all you need to run.
That's your overhead. Yes.
That's your overhead. Yeah.
Crazy.
I wish that was my overhead.
That's not your overhead.
So that's your overhead. Yeah. And all that's left is your skill set. And that's your skill set of networking. That's your skill set of partnering. That's your skill set of helping. That's, as I come down to, your results, reputation, and relationship. But that's what it is. That's ultimately the skill of being able to shake enough hands, get in front of enough people, and actually help all of those people. If you help all of those people, you will be rewarded tenfold. How are you rewarded? Well, number one, you can be time freedom, you can have location freedom, and you can have, I suppose, your weekends if you want it. You work when you want, you do what you want, as long as you produce what you want. Okay, that means that you can travel anywhere in this world and do whatever you need to do, as long as you have internet and a computer.
Crazy.
So we ultimately, if you think of it, Benny, we ultimately are living the life that most people want to live.
Yeah.
You go into London, buddy, like you do very often. You go to the underground, okay?
Yeah.
And you see those people in the suits sweating their nuts off, running from meetings, running to the office, running home. I see people on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday when you go into the city, and you possibly do as well. They're so fucking numb from the shit that they live every single day that they have to go to the pub, they have to get takeaway on the way home, and they have to fucking, live the fast life. You see them all the time, don't you?
Yeah.
And I look at them and I say to myself, I know you would give me a kidney to have the life that I have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think for us, I think we do have to, not necessarily us, but I think a lot of people have to respect, the availability that we have, the rawness that we have, the excellence that we have in this industry, because it could turn very, very nasty very, very quickly for a lot of people. You know, and if you want to work really, really hard, your rewards will be you'll make a ton of money and you'll make, you know, endless amount of relationships that can feed you for the rest of your life. You know, because you go to London, Benny, you see those guys sweat their face off. They got Big Macs hanging over their face. It's 10 o'clock at night. They're stumbling home on a Thursday, knowing that they got to turn around and get up again at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning to get back in. You see him, and I say to myself,
"Pressing."
I know there's a different life that we don't have to live because of the skill sets that we provide and the skill sets that we have. You know, I think that's really important, and it's perspective. Yeah, it's a massive perspective shift to just know that we're very, very fortunate and very lucky to have this industry in the space that it is in today. You know, and the rewards that we can have. Like, where else could you have an hour's conversation with someone and make upwards of $1,000? Like, there's consultants that are changing kids' lives, that are saving kids' lives, you know, that are doing really, really like life-changing, you know, stuff for this world that don't get what we get.
It's true.
Nuts,
like
isn't it?
Crazy, isn't it? Like, there's politicians that ultimately will change world politics and world decisions that don't get $1,000 for a half an hour, 45-minute work. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Your local constituency, where are you? You're in Ealing, isn't it?
Yeah, Ealing.
Yeah. So your local constituency there, the guy that is the MP for Ealing, he doesn't get $1,000 an hour.
No, he doesn't deserve it either, to be fair.
No. Yeah. But that guy is making decisions that are ultimately dictating, you know, 50 million people, if you think about it. Like, he has a vote in that. You know what I mean? He doesn't get $1,000 an hour.
No, he doesn't. Yeah.
You know, your local doctor, your local fireman, your local nurse, your local teacher, who are actually shaping people's lives, you know, that do deserve a lot of money. They don't get what we get. You're very philosophical. I think the sun has affected my brain, to be quite honest with you.
Too much vacation time.
Too much vacation. You're absolutely right.
You need to get back in.
It is too much vacation. I do. Yeah, I'm itching now the last couple of days, so I'm coming back next week. You guys are going to be so fit. You guys
I'm
are
off next week. I'm taking off next week. I forgot to tell you.
There's no more off. When I come back, everyone's going to monk mode. There's no off.
See you in Texas.
The next stop you got is in November, when it's Thanksgiving, and then you'll get another one for Christmas Day, and that's it.
He's
you got a Thanksgiving and a Christmas. Thanksgiving and Christmas Day. That's what you got.
Taskmaster.
So, all right, question, Benny. So,
I appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. One last thing. What do you have? What would you say to people who are like, should we go in the objection box? Should we train with Bill and the team? They're on the fence. What do you have to say?
Oh, simple. Get in. It's simple. Get in. Like, I didn't have any experience in sales. Yeah, I had a robustness, resilience, but ultimately, you guys took me from 1K, and in 6 months, way over 50. So 100% get in. Like, if you want that kind of money, you've got to take some kind of risk. You can't do it on your own. You need to pick the right people. And I think what's amazing about what you guys do is the access to such a high standard of coaching as well. So obviously you got the master, Mr. Bill, but just being around that does make a hell of a difference. And as much, like, we get a lot of access to you. And then there's the other coaches in there as well. James, Nick, Liam, like the whole team is very, very, very good. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. So that would be, to anyone who's on the fence, just get in. Worthwhile decision.
Appreciate that.
We appreciate.
Put a lot of time. Put a lot of time into building the team, as they say. I get easily 5 people a week that come and ask me, can they work for me? I'm like, you're okay, buddy. Not at the standard, I look at my business in a way of, if I wasn't able to do this, could I trust the team around me to do it? And if the question is, I don't know, then the question is, then no. It's not, I don't know, maybe, possibly, it's either yes or no. And if the answer is no, then you got to make a change. So I look at my guys and I say to myself, do I trust my guys? Absolutely. Yes. Because if I don't, it don't work. You know, I look at the team that I have, and I'm very fortunate to build around me. I look at Francine, nearly 15 years of experience in this game. If she doesn't know anything about recruitment, if she doesn't know anything about networking, if she doesn't have enough, you know, people that she knows in her space, then, you know, there's nobody that will have that. Second part of that is I look at my coaches and I say to myself, how my coaches do what they say they do. So I look at James. So James started in November. He went from zero, he makes about 35 grand a month now. That's in less than a year. And he's an engineer. So I know how his brain works. You know, he's a very logical brain. And so I had to give him the emotion and I had to help him with the emotion. So that's Jimmy. So Jimmy, you know, fantastic young kid, again, from Ireland, you know, wants to do really, really well and very lucky, very determined to do really well. He makes over 30 something grand a month. Okay.
Crazy.
That's from a Newman. So then I look at someone like Nick Schroeder, who, you know, has had a crazy wild story in his life. Someone who has constantly got up again and kept on. So that means to me he's fucking resilient as fuck. It means to me he's had a hard shell around him, but he's also been able to fucking keep moving, which means that he's determined, which means that he wants to do well. He's the same, you know, started at zero and he does over fucking 35 grand a month now plus. Again, I look at Liam, 10 years in the business, you know, has managed companies. I'm not talking about like a little company. I'm talking about companies that do multiple 7 and 8 figures every single year. So you got to have the right people around you, you know, and you gotta coach them and you got to train them and you got to help them and you got to be there for them and they got to be there for me. And that's how it works. Because if there's not that and you don't have that, what you have is you got a lot of people, you know, figuring out what they want out of things. And then that's how it goes. You know, I look at how I was in 7th level, and I hate to keep going back and stuff like this, but I look at businesses and I say to myself, okay, how do I, if I can help you get what you want, then what you're going to do is you're going to help me get what I want. So I looked at the businesses that I work for, and I never wanted to be the guy. I never wanted to be the CEO. I just wanted to help, and I wanted to be in the room when the decisions were made, because I felt that's the value that I brought to an organization. When you take someone that wants to be in the room out of the room, once they've shown that they can be in the room, that's how you create rifts, because then you don't value people. So it's all about value, and it's all about giving back, and it's all about allowing people, you know, shine. I don't ever want to put my guys in cages, because what happens is when you keep feeding the bird, what happens to the cage? It gets too small. Yeah. So you got to allow people to open up. You got to allow people to do their thing, and you got to support them in everything that they need to do. And yes, we'll fail, and that's something I want people to understand. Yes, we'll fail, and we're never going to turn back and say that we don't fail. Yes, we fail. We fail all the time. But one thing that we won't ever do is stay down, and lie down. So, Benny, I appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate everything that you do. I appreciate who you are as a person. I appreciate your friendship. But I also appreciate what you show, which is a tremendous amount of, you know, resilience and determination to continue to be better. And that's something that's really, really important, because you can't dine out on last year's money.
Correct.
You can't dine out on yesterday's wins. When I was playing sport, I'll tell you this and then I've got to go. I've learned a lot in my life, Francine, haven't I? Learned a lot. Wow. I've easily lived 4 lives, I think.
You're like a cat. Years. 9 lives.
I remember, Benny, when I played sport, I played it to a very high level, and I was very good at it, to be quite honest with you. And I remember we beat our local rivals really well. And I scored like, let's say, call it a hat trick. And I was a kid, I was like 18 years of age, and I was playing with the seniors. So I scored a hat trick, let's say. And the mentor of mine, who I had a lot of value and a lot of respect for, he said to me after the final, because when you're 18 years of age and you score a hat trick against your local rivals, you know, you pretty much walk on cloud 9. You think you're hot shit. Yeah. And he pulled me to the side and he said, enjoy your night, Bill. You know, have your few pints and all that kind of stuff. But he said to me, did something I'll never forget. So that was at 18, I'm now 31. He said to me, you're never as good as they say you are when you're winning. and you're never as bad as they say you are when you're losing.
That's
And I looked
wise
at that and I
words.
said to myself, I was like, fuck, that is very wise. And it stuck with me from 18 up to now. So that's why it's important. Like, you know, you will lose, you'll win. And it's about bouncing back, but it's also about having humility when you are winning to stay winning, but also stay in a position where you don't get too ahead of yourself. You know, and hopefully people see that with us, that we're not trying to get too ahead of ourselves, but we're very confident knowing what we do, and we will get you where you need to be. So look, I appreciate you guys. I'm out. My wife
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ben.
Guys, if you want any information on what we do, how we do it, why we do it, what you're looking at, how we double, triple, quadruple our salespeople, how we get them into better offers, how we coach them, train them, how we develop their objection handling skills, we are open. We do take people in all the time. For some people that keep telling me all the time, well, when is your next enrollment? We take people in all the time. It's about, are you ready to step up, and are you ready to have a higher quality of standard in your life? That's the question. You know, we're not here for tiddlywinks. We're not here to do a little bit of training and expect a lot. We're here to do a lot of training and expect a little bit, because that little bit is going to be thousands and thousands and thousands compared to the work that we're going to put in. So look, I appreciate you guys. Come and let us know if you want to ever have a conversation. Good luck. Bye-bye. See ya. I'm going back to my holiday. Good luck.
Have fun.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Thanks.